Yes, I see that. I assume, Julie, this is just until they change this official board, so it's, who knows, it might be one meeting.
I'd like to welcome you to the Police Services Board meeting. As Secretary Administrator, I'll officially call this meeting to order. It is 12:02 p.m. First order,
It's 2:02, not 12:02.
sorry, 2:02 p.m.
Trudy was shaking her head.
I lost a couple hours today somehow. First order of business is election of chair and vice chair. So at this time, I will open the floor for any nominations or volunteers for the position of chair of the Elgin Group Police Services Board. Any nominators?
Nominate Sally as chair.
Great, Sally. Do you,
And
or,
Brenda as vice chair.
thank you. So one step at a time. So Councillor Martin, do you accept the nomination for the position of chair?
Yes, hopefully we get a new board here soon. Then you can change.
Any other nominations for the position of chair? Hearing.
Nominations closed.
Thank you very much. So the motion will be that Councillor Sally Martin be nominated for the position of chair. No further nominations have been received for this position, and Councillor Sally Martin has accepted the nomination. I have a mover and seconder to appoint Councillor Martin as chair.
I move this. We have Sally.
Thank you very much. And that motion is carried. So at this time, I will open the floor for nominations for the position of vice chair.
I nominate Trudy.
Oh,
For vice chair. You don't want to stick with the job? No.
yeah.
I got a job vice chair on another board, so. I know that feeling.
Yeah. So Trudy, do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Thank you. And are there any other nominations from the floor for the position of vice chair?
Move nominations closed.
Very much.
I make a motion that we accept Trudy.
Great. So be it resolved that nominations for
Seconded.
the position of vice chair be closed, and that Trudy Canellis be appointed as vice chair of the Elgin Group Police Services Board. And that motion is carried. So back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And that it's nice in the sense that both Trudy and I will have had experience, and you'll both likely be on the board, hopefully in the future. So that'll help. Okay, I guess the minutes from the October 26th meeting. We've all had a chance to read them. Someone like to make a motion that those be adopted as circulated? Trudy and Dave. Any objections? All in favor? It's carried. And does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports. So the first one, Carolyn. Board member reappointments. Carolyn, would you?
Sure. So the appointments of the Eastern Elgin elected representative, Dan Froese, the Central Elgin elected representative, Sally Martin, and the Western Elgin community representative, Ida McCallum, ended in 2021. And the chair, Sally Martin, sent letters to all participating municipalities requesting that those appointments be extended until the new board is formed once the ministry approves her application. And the participating municipalities pass resolutions reappointing.
Yes, I see the letters in there that they all, even though I was giving Grant a hard time because he didn't recognize Ida. Then you did an even worse one, Julie.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
he said to my husband, he's seen him somewhere, and he says, so how does your mother like being on the police services board? Oh, Dave says, that was my wife.
So Grant's dug himself in.
Really dug himself.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next thing, I assume we need a motion to accept that report,
Receive and file.
receive and file. Mover? Ida? And Trudy seconding? All in favor?
Aye.
And thanks, Dan. Go ahead and say aye each time because I can't turn around necessarily and look at the screen
Okay.
behind me. Thank you. Okay, the next one is the 2022 budget. Carolyn?
Sure. So the budget for 2022 remains unchanged from 2021, with the exception of an increase under miscellaneous. And this has increased because that includes our insurance coverage.
Now, I know we had talked about discussing the members' remuneration. Is that not until the new board comes in? So this budget will remain in place then for this year, or just till this is disbanded? Is that?
So the board would have two options that once the new board is established, you could review remuneration and make an adjustment to the budget in year. Alternatively, you could recommend that any changes be made for future budget considerations.
Okay. I do not see, when you look at it, it's been the same for a long time. So I'm not certain why some are complaining that it's too high. Considering we all inherited that. Any other questions on the budget? Not, would we need a mover then to adopt the budget? David? Ida? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is carried. You'll have to do your special one, where you just touch it and I can go back.
Oh, yes.
That would be helpful because I'm having to flip through all this.
I will do that in the future.
Thank you. That would be very helpful if it's not too much.
Not a
Problem. Okay, Julie, yours is the next one, the secretary administrator appointment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So it has been my great pleasure to serve the Elgin Group Police Services Board as Secretary Administrator over the past 4+ years. The time has come, I think, that I pass the torch to Carolyn Cron. Carolyn has proven that she is incredibly capable. She's also very interested in police services and in serving our community and in providing effective service to the board. And I think you've seen this in every meeting that Carolyn's been at for the last year and a half. So Carolyn not only has an interest in this, but is also incredibly well educated, has a Bachelor of Education and a Master's of Library and Information Sciences degree. She has been serving county council and working very closely with me to serve this board for some time now. And it is my recommendation that Carolyn be appointed as Secretary Administrator to serve the Elgin Group Police Services Board. And while I will attend the meetings, Carolyn will be your point person for this board moving forward. And she'll also provide support to our local municipal partners who are part of the OPP service as well.
Very good. So I assume you need a motion to
Yes.
appoint Carolyn?
So it would be that the report be received and filed,
Yes.
and that Carolyn Cron be appointed as Secretary Administrator for the Elgin Group Police Services Board.
Would someone like to move that?
So moved.
Dave? Trudy is seconding that. Any questions? Carolyn worked for me for 2 summers before too, so I'm very familiar with what a great asset she is. That was in our museums, our historic ones in Sparta. All those in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried. Okay, Mark, it's your turn. Would you give your quarterly report first?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy that we're able to meet in person with everything that's going on. This report will cover the period from October to December 2021. And I'd like to draw your attention to the very first box. So this one deals with public complaints. So it shows one policy and one service complaint. So those were dealt with. They were dealt with through the OIPRD and were deemed they're basically withdrawn. And the 9 conduct complaints that you see there have been unsubstantiated as well. So although it says 11, we have 0 that are outstanding and 0 that we're moving forward with. If we focus on the intelligence-led policing and our crime abatement strategy, you'll see that there's 6 offenders that are currently in our program. One of the offenders has been charged with 3 charges, and 2 additional performance checks were completed by our members for those individuals that are in the crime abatement program. The big topic here and the next area is our patrol hours. So you'll see that during this period, we were able to log 655 hours of patrol time, which is good because that's high visibility, proactive policing in our county, as well as 7 hours of foot patrol within our municipalities. School patrols are low. There's only 1.75 hours of school patrol. And that's based on, we're still in that transition period. We don't want to, with the schools and policing, with everything going on, we don't want to be too pushy with how we're trying to integrate ourselves back into school. So that's why that number is fairly low.
Mark,
Yeah.
I'm assuming foot patrol is basically Port Stanley?
Pretty much.
Lucky us.
If you look at the next page, so where we discuss transfers and promotions, we had 1 transfer to us. PC Matt Robinson transferred to Elgin Detachment from Chatham Detachment, and he is one of the members assigned to our traffic management unit. I'm sure you've heard of that acronym quite a bit when dealing with some of the complaints and traffic complaints that have been coming in. So Matt is one of the officers that is responsible for attending to that, and also high visibility proactive enforcement. For awards, we've had a number of awards issued here at Detachment. West Region members, Elgin County members, and ERD members have been recognized for their basically serving with pride, professionalism, and honor. And these are based on occurrences that we have throughout the year where members are recognized for their outstanding contributions. And actually, I brought one. They're gonna actually be from Mike Butler. He doesn't know yet, but when he comes back to us, this is what we've been giving our members. And basically just a simple ceremony that we hold here at Detachment, and they're given a challenge
Very
point
nice.
for their own records. Our Detachment initiatives, we've participated in all provincial initiatives, traffic safety campaign initiatives. During this reporting period, that included Operation Impact, our festive ride season, many focus patrol initiatives throughout Elgin County. And again, these are community-driven focused concerns. Not only do we utilize analytics when we're discussing and establishing where we should send members for focus patrol, but the majority of this is based on direct community basically requests for enhanced patrols, which we're responsive to those. Our Safeguard Ontario Lock It or Lose It campaigns have been limited again due to COVID-19. We have participated in the Elgin County EOC, and also in terms of our continuity of operational planning, and our tabletop exercises were completed for 2021. If we go into our motor vehicle collisions, you'll notice from October to December, we did have 4 fatal collisions, resulting in 10 total collisions for the year. This is a 66.7% increase over the same period last year. And I had our regional analysts come up with a report to try to determine if there's any type of causal reasons or connections to these fatals, and there's nothing. There's no similarities in terms of geography. There's no similarities in terms of causal factors. During this part of this reporting season, the weather's been great. And from my own, because I attend these and I do come in when they occur, it's been, between inattentive driving and one was alcohol related, a racing event, a tragic event. And that's kind of where those numbers are a bit high. Again, also with the prior to this, during this reporting period, COVID restrictions were somewhat relaxed. More people on our highways, which results in more potential for inattentiveness. Injury accidents are down by 54%, and overall, our year-to-date, we're down 21%, which is good. Our property damage crashes, however, are up during this report, 12.9%. Those, I can tell you, if anyone has walked through the back of our parking lot and seen our cruisers, those are wildlife-related car deer accidents, and we are not immune to them as well. We see the damage that's out there. Our officers are involved in several of these. Overall, though, there's been a 21% increase in that for our year-to-date. Again, talking about the fatalities in our area, there's one reported alcohol-related incident. That's the crash I briefly discussed back in Thanksgiving. And that resulted in, unfortunately, 2 deceased from that particular incident. We have had no off-road vehicle collisions and no snow vehicle collisions during this reporting period. And although, if you look at the bottom total there, our motor vehicle collisions, we have gone from 4 to 11, which represents a 175% increase. But I know I had Sergeant Holmes kind of look into the analytics of that. And although that number is high, we are still within, we're slightly over what we would anticipate, but there's nothing that really comes to mind is what can we do from a police perspective, bring that number down. It's going to result in greater education and proactive policing on our end, focused patrols, and just again, discussing the importance of inattentive driving and staying off the cell phones. The next page, again, you can see through this reporting period, for whatever reason, the wildlife is a contributing factor. This is going to show up as zeros because they haven't been involved in fatal motor vehicle collisions, but they have been a significant source of our property damage collisions. And inattentive driving is really, aside from alcohol and inattentive driving, those are the real primary causal factors that we've experienced throughout this reporting period and since my arrival here at the detachment. Seatbelt as a contributing factor was that one crash with the 2 people that were ejected from the vehicle, and then one other accident that represents the third. Our violent crime, our murder rate for this reporting period stays the same at 0, although we are still 1 year to date based on the one that we had. Basically, when I pull the data and we look at the report from this, I'm happy to see that our sexual assaults are down 41%, our assaults are down 51%, our property crimes against a person, although that represents 27% increase, that's it's just random. Those are just random acts. And overall, we've gone from 54 to 71, and that represents a 31% increase overall. Property crime, when we go through all of our benchmarks for property crime, we're down fairly significantly across the board, from break and enters to thefts, theft over, theft under, being in possession of stolen goods, frauds, and our mischiefs. And that I attribute to some excellent work from our CSCU members, our Community Street Crimes Unit members. And when we go into the year-end report, I'll be able to highlight some of those excellent investigations. Our drug crimes, again, you'll see that our drug trafficking is up. And again, I attribute that to our CSCU investigations, and that's where those stats are being generated. Our clearance rates, you'll note that our clearance rates between 2020 and 2021 for violent crimes increased 61% to 61.5%, which represents a 3.4% difference during this reporting quarter, while our property crime has dropped to 5.6%. The property crimes that we're experiencing here in Elgin County are difficult for follow-up based on the nature of the property crime. A lot of these crimes are occurring in rural farm properties. So we're not talking, there's no witnesses. A lot of them do not have any type of CCTV or closed camera system. So it makes it extremely difficult for our members to follow up. And the clearance rates that we're getting is through excellent investigative work by sources of people that are selling or trying to sell some of the equipment. Our total violent property crime, there's a decrease of 2.5%. And these clearance rates that you see here are still well within regional standards. And actually Tyler can maybe just provide a bit of top up on that.
Yeah, just a couple of quick things. Just when I compare the data for Elgin across the 15 detachments in the West region, the clearance rates are fairly consistent, within 1 to 5% one way or the other. The other thing is our clearance rates are actually trending in a positive direction, where region-wide they're actually declining. So it just means that we're, like you said, we're doing good investigations and solving crimes that in the past maybe weren't solvable, but with the people that we have doing the job, it's obviously trending in the right way. So.
Our criminal records and vulnerable screening checks are up. Although during the quarter they were down, there was a drop of 24% for criminal records checks and 18% for vulnerable sector screening checks. Overall, year to date, we're up 23% and 20% respectively in those areas, which is good. I'd just like to go through our annual report. So when we generate this report, it's basically a year in review of what's been going on in the detachment, and it's a good kind of a summation that I can give to you and for our members as well, so they're able to know that kind of what's taking place within the detachment throughout the year. I'm not going to read it all verbatim, but the message from Mayor Martin was very well received by the detachment, and it's really good reinforcement for the members to know that their work is recognized by the board and by the community. Our organizational structure hasn't changed. It remains the same. There is a service delivery model review that's been taken. It's a provincial service delivery model review. And right across the entire organization, a review of staffing has taken place. Once officially I'm able to release them, I will release them. But the preemptive reports for Elgin County is very, very good. We expect and anticipate a large staffing increase here. What we will run into issues-wise is facilities. We're basically at max capacity right now, but nobody wants to say no to extra officers, so we'll figure out ways to try to be creative to make that work.
One and done.
So we will, the amalgamation is still moving forward with Chatham detachment. That amalgamation has now been pushed back and is believed to happen in June of this year. What that means for us is now, depending on how that staffing model reviews for them specifically, either way, it will help us with enhanced traffic patrol and enforcement on our 401, right from the Chatham-Essex border, right through to Middlesex border. And again, they'll also be able to help back up with calls for service in our one zone or Dunwich area, which would be good. And we're hoping to try to get more use out of the Dutton detachment. And as you know, we are on a 2-year lease extension with that building. So we're going to try to maximize that and use that as much as possible. The auxiliary, you see a dated photo there with Inspector Fishley there. The auxiliary program has not been, with everything going on with COVID, it hasn't really been fruitful for us. Now, on the flip side of that, with things kind of the protests and things taking place across the province, I anticipate greater participation by the auxiliaries. But even still, through 2021, there was over 191 hours of patrol time logged and 15 3/4 hours of community events. And the majority of their time during this period was spent in training. Our 2020 to 2022 action plan hasn't changed yet. We will be looking at updating that for the next 3-year period. But again, our focus has been on crime, traffic, and generating efficiencies within the office. And specifically with the implementation of our mental crisis response team worker. I just brought Nadine here today just so you can meet her. And now you know who our MCIT worker is. And Nadine may have just a bit of information for you about some stats.
Yeah. So my name is Nadine. So I work for CMHA. We've recently amalgamated with Addiction Services, Thames Valley as well. So we are getting quite large. That's positive news for us because we really will be able to connect more easily with other services, right? So this is a partnership between CMHA, Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health. services, Elgin OPP and Elmer Police Service. So I'm in Elmer once a week right now on Wednesdays, but the intention is if Elmer gets a live call on a different day that I can head on down there, and same with OPP, if they get a call on a Wednesday, I'll come here. I do have a vehicle through CMHA that is kept here, so if I have to get to Elmer, that can be helpful as well, or meet an officer on a call if needed. So that's been helpful on occasion. So why we're here, so police respond to a high number of mental health related calls. So this offers an opportunity for the community to have a collaborative approach by providing a therapeutic response to individuals. So the response is to embed a crisis worker like myself with police services to respond to live calls for in the moment crisis intervention and follow-up support. So through this service, we provide support to individuals of all ages. And its intention is to build on the existing services and strengths of our community to address the gap in the service system through improved collaboration between the sectors. So we have quite an awareness of the services that this community provides. So it can really be helpful in recognizing that maybe that individual in crisis needs some connection and support, right? So ultimately, we're aiming to increase quality of care and offer a more collaborative and therapeutic response to individuals in crisis, as well as to decrease stigma surrounding mental health. And then I just pulled up the stats until the end of February. So live calls with police were 126, follow-up calls 569, and individuals served 629.
So Nadine's been extremely beneficial, not only for us in-house. When we experience some of the officers that go to traumatic events, they have the ability, because Nadine is here and in a more of a one-on-one setting, she has the ability to interact and engage with our officers, which has been extremely beneficial. And even in terms of generating efficiencies with St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital, we do have a signed transfer of care protocol in place. So we can take steps between an apprehension and as we're traveling to the hospital to speed up that process of getting frontline officers returned back on the road, as well as proper assessments of the individual, so that when these apprehensions are taking place, it's not only just the officer having to make that determination, they can tap into the expertise of Nadine. Any questions for Nadine?
I should mention that the referrals themselves come through police, so either Elmer Police or the Elgin OPP, but that doesn't mean that I don't consult with other agencies, right? If someone through CMHA has a client, they can often give me a heads up, and then we have that extra additional collateral going into the situation. Just like the inspector was saying, at the hospital, we also have a CMHA team there, so on occasion, if we have to leave, then I can give that collateral to them so that the hospital is still hearing it from a crisis worker, which has led to, if we're apprehending someone and feel that they need to be in hospital, they're often admitted if needed, right? Yeah.
Yes, and hopefully with these, the Ontario health teams, that'll even help, hopefully even more, getting more coordination, et cetera.
Yeah,
If the province ever comes through with the funding, because we've already virtually hired an administrator and they haven't come through with any pay.
Yeah. And then a big piece in Elgin that I found is quite a bit of follow-up, but that's a good thing, right? It offers another opportunity for an individual to get support that maybe if police go there and they don't need to attend hospital, then what else are they getting otherwise, right? So I think that's a big opportunity there. And with my hours, I'm 8 to 4. So it is quite a bit of follow-up, but that has worked out so far.
You had talked about possibly getting a second
Yes.
officer. So you can-
Yes, Madam Chair, I was going to touch on that. So we did submit a application on the Community Safety Policing Grant for additional funding for an MSR worker. Unfortunately, we were not successful. It's a very competitive process. And I believe because our MSR worker is so new, I don't think there's enough data that where some of the other larger detachments have well-established data. So I think come next application period, we'll be in a much more competitive position to hopefully get what we want and get a second worker. So that is our goal, and I'll be working towards that goal. Our crime management plan for Elgin County is a very comprehensive plan. We have a very excellent system in place here with Detective Sergeant Victoria Laux and our Community Street Crimes Unit. So that is embedded here in detachment, and it's an excellent resource available immediately for the officers as we need it. The foundation of this plan does support the OPP results-driven policing strategy and focuses on public safety through crime prevention and investigative excellence. I'll be able to touch on some of that as we move through the presentation. Our traffic management strategy, I think I've already started to see the benefits of our traffic management unit and how we're able to liaise with the county engineer and different projects in different areas where these complaints come in. And the complaints will come in either through council or directly to me. And then I'm able to engage with the resident or the community citizen that has a complaint, and also provide follow-up in terms of what enforcement action is taking place from our TMU. And we do track all those stats. For community policing, we do have a well-established network of community policing representatives. COVID has really thrown a wrench into all of these meetings and our ability to get out and engage more in the community. There has been quite a bit of interest from Dutton Dunwich, and we have representatives from the OPP that want to be on that committee. And we do have a established committee already in Central Elgin. And in fact, some of the long-term kind of the founding members there, I think will be receiving awards very soon because of the length of service that they've been engaged in that program. Community mobilization and engagement is basically focused on early prevention and working collaboratively with community partners to try to identify strategies to prevent crime. Although it is a new approach, we do have priorities within Elgin County. We have Constable Carlson was previously working very intimately with the community partners. While he's been off, we have a new member, Provincial Constable Norman Kelso, and he's really been trying to take over from Troy and maintain that high level of engagement. We are really focused on Elgin community drug and alcohol strategy development, elder abuse, mental health and crisis response, police and hospital transitional framework, which we are very happy with that protocol now, senior frauds and scams, which we've noticed trends with that, and rapid response for the Alzheimer's Society. This dates back the Elgin County Drug and Alcohol Strategy back to 2018, and really focuses on prevention, treatment, justice and community safety, and harm reduction. And it is a work group, and it's focused on trying to navigate accomplishing these tasks while we're still in the midst of a pandemic. You'll see a picture of Constable Norman Kelso on that page there. And this was a part of a delivering handmade hats for the Elgin County Youth Shelter. It was a great program, great ability to interact in the community. You should see messaging, and I hope you all receive any media blast outs that occur for the detachment. You should receive those, as well as updates on Twitter or Facebook or social media. Norm's responsible for that for us. For us specifically, we really tried to focus on special projects in terms of our ATV patrols based on community concerns in West Elgin. And again, enhanced marine patrols and visibility on our lakes and beaches. Specifically, if we focus on the ATV patrols, there's over 100 kilometers of ATV trails within Elgin County, and the Talbot Trail ATV Club has really focused on establishing and promoting trails within Elgin County, which is another potential area where we're getting an influx of tourists through the season into our community. Our officers, we've done some stats, and our officers have done a great job of not only enhancing ATV patrols, but also some enforcement along the trail system. We just submitted a decision note to get our own ATVs here. The ones we had them on loan. So I'm trying to keep, so we have our own here. Marine patrols for 2021, we had over 186 hours of patrol, and the members responded to 48 calls for service. And as you know, we have a massive area to cover with over 450 square kilometers of Lake Erie and 100 kilometers of shoreline. And our Marine unit has been doing a great job of ensuring public safety. With the amalgamation with Chatham actually does have a bigger boat, for lack of a better term. So when feasible, we're going to try to incorporate that boat for patrols on our lakes as well. Our Elgin Middlesex Community Street Crimes Unit, we had a very, very successful year in 2021. We've investigated over 181 occurrences. They've executed over 131 warrants, charged 197 persons, and laid over 1,000 charges. That's countless hours of investigative expertise, and many times this boardroom is full of the investigators working on their seizures, and it's been great to see. Some of the highlights from this year, you'll see the dump utility trailer investigation. So in 2021, we were basically faced with issues with dump trucks and trailers that have been stolen, re-binned, and then sold. And the accused were basically stealing them, altering the bins, re-registering these items with MTO, and selling them as licensed trailers. As a result, through this investigation, 16 trailers have been recovered with a value of about 150,000, and 5 people were arrested and charged. In April 2021, the CSU conducted a big investigation for drugs, weapons, and counterfeit currency. And Section 11 Controlled Drugs and Substance Acts warrant were executed. And this one was a good one because it resulted in weapon seizure, counterfeit money, and a methamphetamine lab. And it was in the basement of a residence here in Elgin County. Another big notable event was basically resulting from a traffic stop, and hence the enforcement or the reason why we push so much for traffic stops, because of what comes out of it. Out of this traffic stop, it's basically a liquor license act offense, and they came across a great deal of methamphetamine, cash, counterfeit currency, and resulting in another methamphetamine lab warrant being executed. $6,000 of counterfeit U.S. money, stolen credit cards, unregistered and prohibited firearms, including a sawed-off shotgun, a sawed-off rifle, ammunition, brass knuckles. And as a result of this, 3 people have been charged with over 42 offenses. So another excellent investigation. On the next page, just some photos of some of the seizures that have taken place. Our year-end review, our calls for service over the year, you'll see that it's really been trending from 2016 to 2021. Our calls have generally been trending up. 2020 was the anomaly based on the pandemic, where we saw a slight decrease in our calls for service. When we go by our zones, Central Elgin has the highest number of calls for service for us.
And you've got Port Stanley on there separate. Was that in addition to Central?
I just don't want to single you out too much. You'll see, I just focused a bit on the traffic safety, just to show some of our ride checks. So we do receive a yearly ride grant, and that's solely for the purpose of funding our officers out there for festive ride and ride initiatives. We received $13,243 for ride checks. As a result, over 219 rides, static ride checks were conducted. We did discuss our motor vehicle collisions in the quarterly and year reports. I'm not going to go over that again. We discussed the fatalities. And again, when we start breaking down the analytics, we go by collisions by month and by primary cause. For whatever reason, November had our highest number of collisions. Primary cause, again, the above graph just talks about total collisions, while the bottom graph talks about primary cause. And the wildlife is our biggest contributor for property damage collisions. We did discuss the crime prevention and the stats. I don't want to go into that again in terms of violent crime and property crime. But like I said, and like Tyler touched up on, I think everything is trending in the right direction. I did include some stats on our partnership with the London Elgin Middlesex Crime Stoppers. And I think the most important piece out of that for 2021, that the program was successful in achieving over $177,668 in recovered assets and currency, which is good. Our financial reports, so you understand from the Municipal Policing Bureau how that works, and our although it looks at face value that everything's trending in a positive direction, because our base cost for service per property has actually dropped to $172.07 from where it was. When I was asked questions about it, it's because we have a number of less officers on the road across the province, which is resulting in less billing. With all of the hiring and everything that's going on based provincially, we'll see how that's going to change over time. Again, though, we are committed to generating efficiencies, which we've been doing. The breakdown of the calls for service is really, I added that just so you can see that we do subscribe to analytically based policing. And the calls for service really occur peak period during midday. And we've divided our shift instead of the simple ways of just 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is basically standard across the board for the OPP. We've implemented different shifts. So noon to midnight shift and a 2 to 2 shift just to help handle some of the higher call volume and limit and reduce overtime. I did touch on our ride grant, and we do partnership and we do these initiatives with St. Thomas Police and Elmer Police. And the last couple of pages are just some of the pictures of some of the community events that we attended throughout the year. The first one that we were very happy to go to was the Port Burwell Public School Buildable Project. And that was one of the first initiatives I was able to attend when I came here. And I was just very pleased that the school that had actually asked for us to come back and participate. So we made sure our Marine unit, everybody was there to participate in that. There's a picture of Nadine with our MCERT partnership. And then below pictures are just some of the awards that have taken place at detachment, including some for some senior members and some of the point presentations that we discussed and that I showed here.
Thank you, Mark. Questions for Mark? Sort of threw me that we had one homicide then, and then January 1st, you got one already for my lovely community of Sparta. Because the Elmer Express did contact me at the time, Rob, and said, when was the last time you had a murder in Sparta? 1935.
Oh, wow.
That was a fellow who was losing it mentally, and they were going to put him in the hospital, and he ended up killing his mother and sister and then himself, which was quite a sad one, but long before my time. Other one concerns me a bit because it is a student I taught. Don't know any of the circumstances other than that it happened New Year's Day. Don't know that I want to know more. Any other questions or comments for that? I
have a
very
question, Madam Chair.
certainly go ahead, Dan.
Thank you for the report. Very good, very informative. This Emergency Act, how is it affecting police services at all, or where are we at with that?
It is, and thank you for your question. So just for your awareness here, for the board's awareness, so our members here, so provincially and at Elgin Detachment, our members have been working nonstop. So as you can imagine now, with the provincial deployment of all our members, with Windsor, with Blue Water, with the Highway 402, with Ottawa, it does have an effect on us, specifically in how we allocate resources. So specifically for Elgin County now, all of our members are working nonstop. So even on their rest days, the members that are on rest days are put on standby so that they're able to respond immediately for any emergent needs, whether within our own county or provincially. And it has had an effect. It's been very busy, but at the same token, we're managing. And again, a priority is always to balance the wellness of our members. And we're doing that internally here as much as we can with some flexibility. So we are maintaining that. How the next couple of weeks are going to unfold and how that's going to affect us is still yet to be determined. And we're basically in a holding pattern on that to see how it's going to affect us locally here. But I'm hoping that answers your question. In terms of, are we going to take on any additional or exercise any of those additional authorities? We have no plan and no intention. We have no need for that here. And it's going to be status quo for us.
Maybe just further, how does that affect budgeting?
It doesn't. So this, again, for these types of events, there's a specific DAR registry code and code associated to the provincial responsibilities. All overtime attached to that goes directly to the province and is billed accordingly. So it will not impact the Elgin County budget at all.
I remember that from when Mike was going down to the one in Caledonia every weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I very much appreciated the detailed report, and I have suggested to Mark, traditionally, the department inspector, et cetera, would go around to each municipality and present this report in the past, which is pretty hard to do at the moment with some virtual and some the others. So I suggest he's probably going to send the report out to each CAO so that they can put it in their council report. And then I suggested he could make himself available to either go in person or go online, depending on how that council would wish it. Many of them would probably just have you online, because even if, like Central Elgin's council meets in person, but we're limited in numbers and we don't have anyone from outside come in. So it would likely be coming online.
Sure, and I would be agreeable either way.
Yeah.
First round.
I know in-person meetings, and I commented it before, when we went to West Elgin, that was certainly the best one when Julie and I went out and introduced Mark to the people. They asked a lot of questions and were very involved. And it was so nice because they were the only one we could do in person. Everyone else was meeting virtually. And it made a real difference because I think we're all getting, at least myself, we're getting tired of the Zoom meetings. And you tend to almost zone out when someone's making a presentation, just because, it's so different than interacting personally and being able to, look someone in the eye and talk to them, et cetera. I'm sorry about my glasses. My dog ate my good glasses. So these are 12 years old and I can see perfectly for driving, absolutely perfectly. And they're better actually than my new ones, but I can't read with them on. There's no bifocal there anymore. So I apologize, but it was easier to read with them off. Anyway, does anyone else have any ideas or suggestions or anything? We need a motion to receive and file the report. So we need a mover. Ida, and a seconder. Trudy. Any questions? All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. I have to remember, I keep wanting to look at Dan up there and then I can't see all you guys with your hands up. Okay, so now we're coming to the correspondence from the Ontario Association of Police Services Boards. Julie, you sent it out. It's basically to register, correct? Our membership and pay our membership. It's interesting considering there could well be a change in the middle of the year, but I assume this will cover for the year, whatever, or do we know? Okay, and being a 5-member board, our set fee is there. So I'm assuming we just approve you completing this and sending it in. Do you need a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Dave. Seconded by Ida. All those in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Thank you. And then we have the minutes of the Zone 6 meeting, which, I think there were 3 of us present at that one. It's another one that's hard virtually to become too involved, but I know they haven't set a new date yet for the next one, have they, Carolyn?
We just set a new date and that is March 21st at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And the calendar invitation will be going out shortly with a
Right.
Zoom meeting link.
They had set it actually on the county council day, which affects, I can't be there, Julie couldn't be there, Carolyn couldn't be there, and that didn't make a lot of sense considering Julie's the secretary administrator for that board. So, because they asked, did we want to go ahead or have them change it? And I thought we asked that they change it. I didn't say that they had to. I just said it does affect 3 of us. So you might have let them know that.
Virtual.
It's virtual, yes. So invitations will go out and you're welcome to join. Do we need or just receive these things as information? And the virtual spring conference is there. Can we do all of them, I assume, at once? I think so. I think Trudy, did you not go to the conference last year?
I did.
I thought so. Is there anyone who'd like to go to the virtual spring conference and annual general meeting? Was it worthwhile, Trudy?
It was worthwhile. I give the detailed report and I also have under new business today, I have the report from the labor conference too.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I know Trudy's been attending these and giving us reports on them. So if you do want to go to that, you need, do we have a limited number, Julie, or can anyone go? So I assumed it's in the budget, it's covered your registration, et cetera. And because it's virtual, I'm sorry, there won't be any accommodation or meals in there.
Come to my house. And
Okay, we'll do it together. Nick will get a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, just let Carolyn know so that she can register you for that. And so we need a motion to receive and file these correspondence. Dave? And seconded by?
Dan,
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dan. I was waiting for you to shout at some point. All those in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Thank you. Okay, Trudy, you have something you'd like to share with us.
yes, so I do have a summary. I've given the more detailed report to Caroline and she's going to put it in the minutes. The summary of when I attended the labor conference in November. So basically the first thing we learned about was how to navigate the website. So all the detailed information on how to get on it, how to navigate everything. We had 4 different women speakers, which were very informative, talked about inclusion, diversity, and cultural. The first one was Kimberly O'Toole. She was the president of Ontario Women in Law Enforcement. We had Jean Turner. She was with Serving with Pride. We had Jacqueline Edwards. She was the president Association of the Black Law Enforcers, and Lisa Darling. She was from We in Policing. So all very informative speakers talking about how we can include women and all the diversity and everything in policing. The next thing we learned, the Peel Regional Police Board, they're working on a human rights project. Their new strategic plan they've developed is, they said, is the most aggressive and innovative policing plan in Ontario. So we learned a lot of detail about that. So we had Sylvia Jones talk briefly about the Community Safety and Policing Act. And she mentioned that the pledges for the policing grants have all been fulfilled. We had Carmen Manchi and his daughter, Julie Thorough from the WSIB, and they talked about 2 different issues with PTSD. So there are 2 very different cases, but very detailed. They went into the detail and discussed them all. We had Ian Johnson talk about labor issues and about the case from the St. Thomas police officer who was charged with spousal abuse, which was brought up, which I thought was kind of interesting considering I was on there. Ian actually did compliment Chris from the St. Thomas police chief on his actions for bringing the case forward without the victim wanting to be involved. And he also complimented the Elgin OPP officers for their investigative report because they said that was what they originally had to go on. So that was very interesting and very complimentary to us, considering he didn't know that I was on there listening, right? So, yeah, it was very nice to hear those. Made me proud, of course, to be on the police service board. We talked about vaccination requirements very briefly. And both this conference and the spring conference, there was trivia questions to answer. Carolyn did help me with some of the questions when I had them because they're kind of tricky. They're acronyms and you had to put in the comma or the brackets in the right spot. And if you didn't get them in the right spot, you didn't get the right answer, right? And it was also timed questions. So in the spring, I was one in the top 10 in getting the answers quickly and fastly. And in this conference, I was in the top 3. So I actually won a $50 Amazon gift card.
Oh,
So yeah, so
Congratulations.
I'm like trying to get those questions in there.
A bronze medal, right?
So I thought that was pretty good.
yes.
So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to attend these 2 conferences. It was very, very informative. Yes, thank you.
That's a good report too, Trudy, because that gives everyone else a chance, they know what's going on and how, whether, the worthwhileness.
Worthwhile, yeah.
These things. So that will encourage you to do the one in May. Any of us. Okay, is there any other, Carolyn?
Could we receive the verbal update from Trudy?
Certainly, yes. We need a motion to receive Trudy's
So moved.
verbal update on the conference, moved by Dave.
I will second it.
Thank you, seconded by Dan. All those in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Sorry, Carolyn. Doesn't hurt to remind me. I need it at times, often. Okay, is there any other item or new business that needs to be discussed? That anyone would like to bring up? Okay, seeing none, we do not have a closed session. Are we going to determine the next meeting now? Okay, Carolyn?
I would suggest Wednesday, May 11th or May 25th at 2 p.m., depending on availability.
May 11th, well, surely I'm not booked up in May. Wednesday, May 11th. What time? 2?
2, yeah.
I have a hospital governance board at 3.
And what about the 25th?
25th is clear.
It's a good chance I'll be in either Zimbabwe or South Africa.
Oh. If, all I would suggest, if we wanted to meet at 1 on the 11th, that would be fine with me, so I can guarantee that I am on the governance committee for the St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital, and they only meet 4 times a year, so.
We could meet at 1 p.m. on the 11th, or we could try the 18th of May.
The 18th is fine with me. I
Would the
have,
11th work for you? Would the 11th work for you?
The 11th will work for me. The 18th won't.
okay.
At this point,
Well, the 11th is fine with me, as I say, if we meet at 1 o'clock or in the morning, either one. I'm okay in the morning too.
Does the morning work at 10?
Sure. Morning at 10?
it rains that day.
What do we?
Sorry, that's
10 o'clock?
farmer docket.
Okay.
And I don't have to skip out of half my rotary.
Here? Obviously, that's right.
Voting. COVID is allowing it, yes.
Yeah, my exclusions are all dependent on COVID and everything else, but at this point, things were looking better. We've had a book for over 2 years.
I'm concerned about your corn planting, Dave.
It's okay, we'll get through. You know, we're North Malahide. Come on. Of course, you guys will have it in April on that sand.
Oh, yeah.
Tentatively put it in then for 10 o'clock on the 11th. And that we just are agreeing to, we don't have to have a motion for that one. Okay, is there any other business that we need to bring up today? Okay, it was nice to see all of you again. I appreciate the fact that we've been able to meet in person. It really is nice to see human beings in person instead of on Zoom. And I have a terrible time. I have very poor internet. And today it was just dreadful. I thought, oh, I'm so glad we're able to come in person. It had not had me present likely because it just kept cutting out all the time.
Well, thank you very much for accommodating me. I just didn't want to scare any people. I do not have COVID, but I was coughing pretty bad yesterday and this morning, so.
Thank you. And Tyler tells us that he had COVID and he still has this lingering cough, but he hasn't coughed through the whole meeting. So
Yeah.
he's been lucky.
Yeah, we just need an adjournment.
We need an adjournment, yes.
So
So moved by
I
Dave,
second
adjourn, and seconded by Dan. All in favor?
Yes.
Adjourn.